So, yeah, so we gotta find these words. So any of these words really, I don't do an order. I just pick a word at random or just look around. So I do is I just look around, and see if we notice anything that looks like it would be, in there. But yeah, like usual, we do ear to ear. Oh, there you go, peace. I even looked for it. I just looked at the page at random, and next I find it. Obviously, do it with lead pencil, and then like I said, once I find, I just trace it with pen. But pencil for obvious things, obvious reasons. That's when we found the peace word. I don't know. Heal. Let's just say heal. Healing the wounds. I guess you could say, Jesus did heal our wounds from sin. So he definitely heals us from sin. So that makes sense. Oh, is that a word? And here. Oh, that's weird. It says beloved. Oh, that's not beloved. That would be bevolved. Oh God. What did it say beloved? I'm like, oh wait. I was like, wait. That doesn't say beloved. It says bevolved. And there's no. I don't know what that. That's no such word. It's kind of sound like a weird word. But yeah, heal. So I guess I want to experiment with this. Build. Yeah. Build up. So build up. So I guess you could say build up a relationship with God. Like I said, if you like this, be sure to let me know, because then I know what videos to do. But yes, this week coming up, yes, I'll be doing original ASMR. I gotta get a few things to actually do it. And I know Harley Rose a long time ago wanted me to do it. For a while, I wanted me to do this soft sounds ASMR, because she likes those a lot. So I'll be doing those too as well, as part of the OG original ASMR. So I did like the 2010s era, and that was one of the things I did a long time ago that people liked a lot, and stuff. So I definitely want to do that. Okay, that's right, heal. Yeah. Still haven't found that word yet. But yes, and I want to do that, and this makes it easier to actually do ear by ear. So especially this, because I'm like, I have to be really close to the phone on the tripod. Oh, and I'm also for Sound Seal ASMR. He wanted me to do a video short because he's trying to do his own ASMR. Because he saw that I did a gaming ASMR. He wants to try it too, but he doesn't know how to do edits. So for him, I want to do that video too. Make sure you check his channel too. Yeah, he's the subscriber that I played GTA 5 online with a long time ago. Oh, that was fun. It's like some words I have a really hard time finding. I can't even find the heel word. I'll just skip it. Let's see. Let's say love. Everybody likes. Who doesn't like love? Oh, right there. Love. Found that. Boy, I don't understand how that was that easy. Usually I have a hard time finding certain words. That one, I guess not. I guess laugh. Laugh is a positive emotion. So let's. Oh, right in front of my face. L-A-U-G-H. So these are in all different directions. So it's not one of those crosswords where it's only certain things. It's just about every angle really. I like those better. I don't like the ones where it's always certain ways. It's like, that's annoying. Like backwards, frontwards, long ways, sideways. I know, it's like, that just makes more sense, and it makes it easier. Is that it? Scatter. Yep. Scatter. As we scatter from sin. So, in other words, we run away from sin. So it's the same, word or meaning. Refrain from doing sin, I guess you could say. But refrain. So you have to look at the R's. Sometimes I'll do it like this, and it'll help to find it easier. like I said, but of course too, my IQ is higher than average. So, growing up is just like this, like because they put me in special education because of my Asperger's syndrome, and plus I barely talked like at all. So they actually thought originally there's a chance that I might become, like a silent. And one was like, no, that's right, non-verbal, silent, non-verbal autistic. Now, obviously, taking out an ASMR, that didn't happen. I was just very extremely shy as a kid. I was very shy, extremely shy. Well, even now, I'm still shy. Now, not as bad, as embarrassing as it is, because we used to when I was in high school, so this was 2000, this was 2008 or 9. I think, oh wait, it was, 2000, I think it was 2009, maybe, somewhere around there, but, because I graduated 2012, so, to give you an idea, but 2009, I had to, bring the different coffees, because my teacher made coffees, and that's how they made money. She made money on the side in the school, so, because I think it made the school money, and they shared some with her, because she was the one doing, I can't remember exactly how it works, it's something like that, but that's besides the point. But, and I used to be so, there's a word, I used to be so scared. Weep. Well, I have no clue what weep means, so I don't know how to put that in a sentence. I don't bore you with looking at my phone, Anyway, was that it? Refrain, yep. I didn't even search for it, I just looked, I'm like, is that a word? And, so basically I was for coffees, and I would lie for my teeth, and then say, oh, I couldn't find it. When in reality, it was a big class of kids, and like I said, I was bullied a lot in school, like to the point where I wanted to take my own life. As crazy as it sounds, but unfortunately, I tried it many times. So, luckily I survived, self-harming myself, which is why I like to help other people to get who go through that. I like to help them and give them motivation to keep going, because I know what it's like, and I like to save people, because it's like, for me, it's like, I'm not going through it now, but at one time I tried to do it, and at some other times it was close to being successful, and I believe it was God to put the right people in my life to get, and then obviously, yes, I did get psychiatric help, like I got like a psychiatrist, and I was put on medications, and I was, my mother was keeping under her watch, like, a lot, and stuff like that. Like I said, school counselors and stuff like that, and, I can't imagine someone going through that, but that's for a story for another day. But if you want to hear more about it, as I said, I could tell you about it, but that's for another day. But anyway, that make it sound depressing, but, there is mourn. As we mourn for those who pass away, which I still am, even though the family member who I'm mourning died 5 years ago, but it's like a knife to the heart. It hurts. It still is business. Was very close to this person, and they're one of the people who helped me in my darkest time when I didn't want to, bother with life. She's definitely somebody who really, really helped, to get me through my darkest period. But anyway, but yeah, so basically what I would do is I would pace the hallway, like in front of the classroom, back and forth, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. And unfortunately, sometimes security would say something, and I would have to make something up, or something like that. I would have to make something up because I was scared to say, like, that I'm shy and I'm supposed to bring this coffee. I have no idea. So they bring somebody else. And of course, she was my friend, or somebody who knew me, and they're like, oh, I think I was just shy because they're because that's my real name. I wasn't shy because, because there was a lot of kids in class, and I would try to pretend and just say I couldn't find the class or something. But I think my teacher knew, but she knew because of my disabilities, and because I was extremely scared, and I was bullied by kids, like every single day I was bullied, and unfortunately at the time, as bad as it sounds, I wasn't in a very good relationship. I was in a toxic relationship, because I was with this girl, which obviously is a name I will mention, but I was with her, and at the time, obviously not now. I haven't talked to her in years, but at the time, and unfortunately, she had a tendency to, unfortunately, get physical with me. Between, it's not something I talk about because just talking about it really bothers me a lot because it just wasn't good. It was just a lot of arguing back and forth, and then and then her blaming me and making false accusations, and then proving that they were wrong. And even when the school was wrong, they didn't give me they apologized for giving me detention and stuff like that, and disciplining me, but they still kind of didn't believe it. The things were dropped. They didn't want discipline. The school didn't do this to stop the detention shit and got rid of it for me. But I never got a sorry or anything like that. Just kind of they just kind of gave her a slap on the wrist and didn't really give her really much. She barely got any, but I got severely punished, putting suspensions and detention a lot, ruining my personal free time and just, anything I wanted to do or things I had to do after school, and they just didn't want to hear me out. Which hence why, going to school, I have a lot of the trauma and, stuff like that and anxiety that I got came from, unfortunately, the school. And adults who did not want to believe me, and even after I proved it, and my mother had physical proof that my ex was threatening people, threatening her exes to the point where she could have gotten arrested. Was never arrested. They never did anything. They kind of just gave her a slap on the wrist, so to speak. Basically, barely anything, and then just let it go and acted like it never happened. Which was hard for me because for me it's okay, but I barely did anything, just lashed out or cursed or something like that, and you guys have a fit, but she's literally threatening people, and you give her a slap on the wrist, and just do the whole kids will be kids kind of shit, and I'm just you've got to be kidding me, Like I said, not to tell everybody all my life story, but like I said, I like to be an open book and just tell people how it is, Partially it's how my mother raised me, to tell people how it is, and just be honest. Of course, she might say sometimes she says I'm a little too honest, but I'm yeah, but for me, my YouTube family, I treat them like family, so I tell them anything, and especially because I talk to people, I help them. Now I can't say what, because I said that's private information, because I keep your messages private, unless you say hey, I want this kind of video, could you, they want a video request, and they don't mind their name being mentioned, but like I said, when it comes to you're going through this or that, or somebody says, I live here, and is this stressful, and stuff like that, that stuff, even my own team doesn't even see it. I'm the only one that sees it, and that's you talking directly to me, and no, like I said, not even my team sees it, and they know not to too, because they know that I would not like that at all. I even told them, literally, if you're part of my team, don't do it, because something I take very seriously, stuff like that, and plus, and it's just a respectful thing to do, but yeah, and that's, that's it, part where I get, now, obviously I got more than an anxiety extent, unfortunately, if I switch sides, unfortunately, of her anxiety and trauma I got, unfortunately, as bad as it seems, I got from my own family, because my great grandmother, when she was alive, my grandmother's mother, unfortunately, she had anger problems, so you probably know where this is going. I was cursed at as a kid. I learned curse words as a kid, because unfortunately, I would hear my grandmother's mother shoot her mouth off, and unfortunately, sometimes she would shoot her mouth off at me and say some not so nice things to me and stuff like that. But like I said, I want to be honest. I don't want to, hide stuff, stuff like that. But yeah, that's, the school was most where I got it from. But like I said too, also, parts of my family, like my grandmother, my great grandmother. Now she's not alive anymore, so I don't have to, listen to her, belittle everybody, because she did that to everybody, though. She did that she would curse at my grandmother. My mother got a tattoo, and she cursed my mother out and disowned my mother because she says, I don't want to have a granddaughter who has an effing, and then she put the Lord's name in vain. I'm not going to say what. It just starts with the Lord's name and then damn. So you know what word I'm probably trying to say. I just don't want to say it and do that sin and curse God's holy name. But you get what I'm trying to say. And they said that she didn't want a granddaughter having those tattoos and everything. So yeah, I just had to do something real quick. And of course, I had a pizza, and of course the pizza burned to bits. I was like, oh God, you gotta be kidding me. But what can you do? I mean, it'll still taste good. It won't taste as good. It'll taste a little bit like crap, but what can you do? It was a cheap pizza from Dollar General, so it's like, who cares? But yeah, because I mentioned it something like a love story somewhere. Eventually, I'll probably do it again, but do like a long version, stuff like that, so that way people who are newer to the channel can see it too. Some stuff I didn't add, I wanted to add to it, so I'm gonna have to redo it. But I said I'll keep it up so people can see, but yeah. Oh, I can't find these other words. Mend, speak, search, hate, embrace. But anyway, yeah, so I'll ramble on my whole life story. But yeah. And then of course, there's a Sunday service, which I like to do because I like to give Christian. Well, I like to do it because some people can, spread the word, obviously, because people like it. But also too, because I know what it's like to go through like religious trauma, as they call it. Now, I wouldn't say so much trauma, but like negative Christian type of people. I can understand because I've actually dealt with that before. Because basically, how the story goes is my uncle, he's Jewish, and my uncle's family. Well, he's not blood related, but my uncle, who my aunt married, who's not a blood relation, he is not blood related. And his side of family is Jewish. Like most of them, like just about all of them are Jewish. Maybe a few that are not, but most of them are. And when we enter the Catholic church, why I don't go to Catholic churches, because, just some things they do I just don't understand. Basically, they told my mother, "Oh yeah, well he can't be his godfather because he's Jewish, and that's kind of not allowed." And which my mother said, "Well, Jesus was Jewish. You literally worship somebody who was a Jewish, who was the king, who was called the King of Jews." And they admit to it, but then they're like, "Oh yeah," but then I don't know, there's some reasoning. I won't say what. I can't remember what exactly. That's why I can't say what. But to me, I take offense to that because I'm like, okay. And my uncle's Jewish. Who cares? What does it matter? My uncle could be Muslim or Buddhist, whatever. It's like, who the hell cares? Like, literally, my uncle, like, he would have still raised me Christian. Just said, well, even if it came to it, he'd be like, well, follow whatever religion you want to follow. And that drove me nuts because I'm like, what doesn't Jesus said to love your neighbor, to love people, to not pass them in judgment. He did say to spread the gospel, but he didn't say go to tell somebody they can't be the godfather or godmother because they're a different religion. And I'm like that. And I see stuff like that all the time. That's why I like to do Sunday service too, because I bring welcoming. Like I said, I don't care if somebody's straight, gay, bisexual, pansexual, all these different things. I'm like, I can't remember there's so many different things nowadays. I can't remember what they're all called. I don't care if you're Buddhist, Muslim, atheist, or stuff like that. Like, it doesn't matter to me. Like, it's Sunday service. You're welcome anyway. Like, God and Jesus would want that, and just in general. Even if it didn't say that, I still would, because it just makes sense. That's how you get people to be saved, by being welcoming. Like if you work at a retail job, I worked at a retail job, so I guess that might be partially why I have that mindset, but, you have to be very welcoming, and welcome people in. And, for me, like, as a Christian, it helps. I mean, I've had people who, didn't hear religion, or some other religion, and then they end up, being curious, and some, not all, but some became Christian because they hear it like that, and they said, some people tell me like, hey, I didn't believe in this, but the way you say you welcome everybody, you don't care, you didn't care that I was this or that, whatever it is. I can't, like I said, many different people, so I can't speak for everybody, and I don't remember each, every single itty-bitty reason, but you get the idea. They were a part of this group or this group, and I'm like, well, don't bother me. I said to me, he said, I care about all people, I just want to see people succeed. I want to see people, do better. People wherever there's suffering from anxiety or this or that or cancer, whatever it is, it doesn't matter to me, or AIDS. I just want to see people do better and get better. And if I can help people, even if I can't save every single person in the world, which I would like to save every single person in the world from their problems. But like I said, it's just unfortunately, it's just not possible. But if I could save as many people as humanly possible, I would do it, even if it took up all my time. Because I know it's like to deal with a lot of things. Like I said, the things I've been self-harm. I used to be an alcoholic, and I actually almost lost my life to alcohol. It was so bad that if I kept it up, I would have lost my life. And I wouldn't be here right now. But I got the right people in my life, and I think God brought them in my life for a good reason, because He knew that without their help, I wasn't going to be here much longer. And there it is. There's one of the words. And that's not what God planned for me was. Yeah. Just want to make sure I spelled it right. I don't look at the wrong thing. Because sometimes it happens with my brain. And I'm grateful every day that God gave me the help I needed. I got the therapy that I needed to knock the crap off and stop all this drinking and ruining my body before it's too late. Now, luckily, I stopped before some serious damage happened, but I did almost ruin my liver. Now, obviously, even with diabetes, my liver's good. I don't have fatty liver disease. I take care of my body and stuff like that. I try my best. Now, unfortunately, sometimes I do suffer with a sugar addiction, and I get my blood sugar too high. But like I said, I force myself to quit sugar and everything else, and just get off of it and have very, very little to no sugar to drop it as fast as possible, so it doesn't cause any nerve damage. And a few words left. All right. Defined. And I'm glad every day. And there's other people who deal with similar things that I deal with, and I've helped them. I've had people who were really, bad situation. I helped them, helping them through, give them the support they needed, and give them motivation. Just tell them, come on, you just gotta keep going, you gotta keep pushing, and tell them about my own personal experiences, and I like that, and I continue to want to offer services, which is why I say, I always put my social media apps, so if there is, you send me a message, and, like I said, I'll talk to you, and we'll figure out what's the best way to help you get back on your feet and stuff. But I like it too, because I like to help people. I'm all about helping people, especially since people helped me in my dark time, and to kind of repay, the world. I want to help also others who really need that help, who may not have the support that they need to get better and do better. Plus, I went through that, so I know it's not a good feeling at all. It's a really bad feeling. It's also scary because it's you don't know if you're going to screw up the next day and you're going to end up in a worse situation. It's a scary feeling to be in. And I know what that's like. And I don't want to see anybody go through that. Which, it's true. I can't imagine seeing someone go through that. It's just you know what I mean? It makes you sad. This feels stupid. I can't find this for crap. But anyway, yeah, so. But one of those things, I guess. Well, I can't find men, so I'll try search for As the saying goes, seek and you shall find. As the saying goes, I've heard that somewhere, I can't remember where. Try one more. Maybe if you could find embrace, that'd be great. Try, but not really easy. I'll see, do it anyway. Don't mind me, it's just me talking to myself. But being at ASMR, I figured out, push myself to do it more, because, it has the ASMR quality. But yeah, I do have it. Sometimes in videos I have a habit of talking to myself. Sometimes my team too, they're here, but no one's here, so it's just, instead of me just talking to myself, and just, I figured people like when I whisper talk, so it's kind of like, adds extra dialogue, if you will. And I can't find any more. Oh, okay, this video's getting long. It doesn't take too long to edit. I began to add a request for you for snapping. Kind of things. I got that done. I'm going to do a shorts on it too, because I want to do a long video and a shorts on that. So, there's that. But anyway, yeah. So, hope you enjoyed this video. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. Share my videos, every single videos.